The way I understand jazz, which is the music I grew up with here in New York, jazz is a bridge. Jazz is a bridge that is connecting cultures, connects Africa to America, to Europe. Now it connects all over the world, to Asia, to Latin America, everywhere. And it's all about people going back and forth on the bridge, communication, sharing, learning from one another. So to me now, this bridge is a bridge between Manhattan and Bilbao, which is now my home. So the music has gone back and forth on the bridge, just like people are.
Manhattan Bilbao Jazz-Zubia is an autobiographical project which reflects the life of our multicultural family. And so there are many members of the family that are involved in the project, and also a lot of old friends, people that I've known for many, many years, that have shared many, many musical experiences with, in concerts and recordings and TV recordings and rehearsals and traveling. And so I think it brings a special quality to the music, where the music is really, it's very heartfelt. It occurs in a kind of natural way. We're all so used to playing together that the music just comes naturally. That's a wonderful sensation, to feel that all we really have to do is just to get together and just start playing, and it just works. It's great. I think this project is a way of bringing jazz to a larger audience, and also involving, in a very natural kind of way, people from a lot of different cultures. A metaphor for peace, understanding, and evolution. Zubia, puente, bridge. This word in all these different languages is a symbol of progress. It's a symbol of communication, of unity, of uniting different peoples that reside on different shores, creating back and forth communication, man's capacity to transform something imaginary into something real. And the bridge is something very real. It's part of our lives. It's a constant back and forth between all these different places that have influenced us. Music is the greatest expression of the human spirit, and there should be no boundaries in music. Music has always been connected to dance, to song, poetry.
Allí convivían hombres y mujeres venidos de todas partes, con beduinos, bereberes, árabes y hebreos. Muchos fueron los pueblos que pasaron por Todra y dejaron su huella. Muchos los que bebieron de las aguas de su río. Y ya se sabe, el agua lo mezcla todo allá por donde pasa.
There's a Persian poet from the 13th century, Rumi, who we feel really reflects the spirit of this project. So Susana Santolaria has adapted some of the verses of Rumi, and we've included that in the concert along with musical accompaniment, because we really feel that this is a perfect reflection of what music means to us and what we would like to communicate.
No soy cristiana, ni judía, ni maga, ni musulmán. No soy del este ni del oeste, ni de la tierra ni del mar. No soy de este mundo.
Jazz Bass Country is a record label that my wife Cristina Santolaria and I created. Cristina's from Bilbao, I'm from Manhattan. We were married in Manhattan in 2010 by a rabbi, and the rabbi sang a song for us at the wedding in Hebrew called Jerusalem of Gold. He said, this song has a lot to do with you two, because you are a Basque Jewish family. Of course, we decided to investigate what this was about. We discovered the story of Naomi Shemer, who was the composer of this song. She had written Jerusalem of Gold for a contest in Israel in the 1960s. She won the contest, and the song, it became like the second national anthem of Israel. Shortly before her death in 2005, she wrote a letter to a friend, and she told him that she had been inspired by a Basque folk singer whose name was Paco Ibanez. Somehow the song had found its way into her subconscious mind, and when she wrote Jerusalem of Gold, she was very influenced by what she had heard. So we discovered that this was based on a Basque folk melody. Jazz has always been connected to dance. Dance is in the soul of the music. The music is in the soul of the dancing. It's inseparable. And this is also true of all of the other traditional musics which somehow are part of this project. Dance is an integral part of the Basque folklore. It's still very much alive today. I wrote a piece, actually I wrote this piece many years ago in New York. I was living on East 10th Street in a fifth floor walk-up between 1st and A. I wrote a piece which is basically in a kind of classical spirit, but also incorporated some jazz harmonies. I called it Dreaming on the Fire Escape. At that time, the fire escape was kind of that was like the porch where we used to sit, dream about the future and about life and music. and we recorded it on this album, incorporating jazz improvisation and also choreography that was created by Maria Fernanda Santolaria, which was danced by her daughters, Ana and Lara Sagastizaba. We live on a street in a little town in Vizcaya called Berango. The street is called Eguzquitza Bidea, which means sunny way or sunny path. And we have a great tradition of large and delicious breakfast. So I call this song Eguzquitza Breakfast. In the origins of jazz, apart from the most obvious elements of blues, spirituals, ragtime, there's another element which is there in the history and the roots of jazz, which is the Yiddish theater, which was so popular in New York in the last decades of the 19th century and the first decades of the 20th century. The Yiddish theater is really the beginning of musical theater in New York, and many of the composers and lyricists that wrote musical theater in English got their start in the Yiddish theater. One of the tunes from the Yiddish theater that was very, very popular and was recorded by many jazz artists, including Louis Armstrong, Ella Fitzgerald, Glenn Miller, was Bei Mir Bist Du Schön, which is a kind of a Yiddish jazz standard. It was even recorded by the Jackson 5. Ana and Lara Sagastizaba sing the original version, the original Yiddish version of Bei Mir Bist Du Schön, which was composed by Sholem Segunda, with the words by Jacob Jacobs. And in this version, we include the triquitisa, trumpet, the flamenco guitar, piano, bass, drums. It's a very festive and fun tune, and it's recorded kind of in the tradition of 1930s New Orleans, upbeat kind of jazz. I started playing the piano, I think when I was about 5 or 6. We had a piano at home, and I used to sit down at the piano sometimes and fool around, and then my parents had a good friend named Henry Brandt, who was an important contemporary composer and arranger, and he used to come by the house, and he'd sit down at the piano with me and show me things, show me the notes, and he taught me to write notes on the staff. And he would encourage me to write music, and he'd say, hey, compose something, write something. So I'd write a bunch of notes on the paper, and then he'd say, well, what's the name of this piece? And so I put a title on it. And that was kind of how I got started in music. It was very free and open. I started taking lessons formally when I was 10 from Robert Abramson, who was a wonderful pianist, and he was also the director of the Dalcroze Institute in New York, and an expert on the Dalcroze method. He was a great improviser. So he also helped me to see music in a very broad kind of way. I didn't really see classical music as being separated from jazz or from blues or anything like that. And there was a lot of jazz in the atmosphere. Ana and Lara Sagastizao are performing the translation of Over the Rainbow into Euskera. This translation was done by a lyricist and Bertsolari. The Bertsolaris are people that improvise verses in Basque, and Iñaki Arrecoechea from Guernica translated Over the Rainbow from English. With this tune, I wanted to pay tribute to our grandfather's cousin, known in the family as Uncle Yip. Yip Harburg wrote lyrics to many great songs for American musicals and films, including Over the Rainbow. Un puente es un símbolo de valentía, de imaginación, del afán de comunicar. Es un símbolo de paz, de progreso, de libertad. También es un símbolo de amor. de unir dos orillas, de que nazca algo nuevo, gracias a ese puente que se ha creado, gracias a la imaginación humana, gracias al esfuerzo humano,